It's Leykis 101, the ongoing on-air adult education course that teaches men how to get more tail for less money. Just as importantly, we teach women how men think. I am your professor. This is my classroom. Class is in session. This is where we teach the tenets of Leykis 101. It's a correspondence course of sorts. Many of you like to write in, and we love to get your emails at tom@blowmeuptom.com. tom@blowmeuptom.com. I read them while we're working. So you can send these in while I'm doing the show, and I will be reading what you write, and I will work your mail into the show if it fits. Also, if you can't get through on the phone, it's a good way to get your questions in. For those of you new to the classroom, let's break down some of the basics of Leykis 101. Leykis 101 students know out of the chute that the purpose of dating is to get laid. It's not to have conversations or see movies or drink coffee at Starbucks or have lunch with strangers. The purpose of dating is porking. Dating equals porking. Never, ever go out with a chick if you think that porking is not a possibility. Don't even go there. And there are ways to know that you're not going to get laid. Like if she insists on having coffee or lunch or anything where you'll see her in the light of day. The light of day rule is very important in Leykis 101, and I want to kind of add that to the list. One way to know a woman wants you to take her seriously is that she insists on seeing you in the light of day. The first date would be coffee or lunch. She wants to see you on the weekend for a picnic. After you've had sex with her, she wants to see you in the light of day for brunch, breakfast, visiting her family, visiting your family, visiting relatives, visiting your friends, visiting her friends, coming to a backyard barbecue that you're given for your actual friends on Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day. She wants to meet your place on holidays. If you want to keep it to just sex, one very important rule: you don't want to see her face during the day. You want to make sure she has had enough to drink or whatever other chemical inducements that are, put it this way, that she would be taking with her own consent, that you would not, no roofies, none of that. You know, we're talking about weed's illegal, so I can't officially recommend that you have her smoke weed with you, but I'll bet you'd be more likely to have sex with you if you two smoke weed, even though it's illegal. Boozing, same thing. Never do something against somebody's consent or against their will. But the idea is to see them at night. The later, the better. Why? Less time wasted chatting. Less money spent on meals. You can avoid dinner. Less money spent on booze. And remember, the more things you say, the more likely it is you'll put your foot in your mouth and she'll find some excuse not to have sex with you. It's like they say when they read you your Miranda rights. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And in this case, it's not in a court of law. It's anything you say can and will be used against you as an excuse not to have sex. I don't like your politics. I don't like your attitude. I don't like the fact that your family isn't talking to you. You know, the more you reveal about yourself, the more likely she's not going to put out. It's the exact opposite of what your intuition tells you. You think if you get all touchy-feely and start revealing things about yourself, she's more likely to put out. No, no. The trick to getting laid is to let her blab incessantly. Make it look like you care. Make the appropriate noises as she blathers on incessantly. Let her talk about her family, her politics, her whatever. You give up as little information about yourself as possible. Because you have one goal and one goal only: to have sex with her. That's it. And you don't want to do anything that's going to F that up. Don't let her stay at your place all night. The last thing you want is to wake up in the morning and have her saying, "Why don't we go to brunch?" Stop it. You definitely don't want that. No brunches, no breakfast, no Starbucks. None of that. kidding me? Do not see her in the light of day. Leykis 101 students, don't spend more than $40 on a date. 0 is optimum. Spend as little as possible. Doesn't matter how much you spend, she either wants to have sex with you or not. Spending more money, boys, and I know you think I'm wrong, but I'm speaking from years of experience. Spending more money actually has the opposite effect. She feels like you're pressuring her to have sex. She feels like your attitude is if you spend enough money, she'll put out, which, of course, is your attitude. Makes her less likely to put out. Less likely to give you what you want because she feels like performance anxiety. If you spend nothing on her, she's like, my God, this guy is really confident. This guy's got balls. This guy thinks I'm going to sleep with him without him spending any money. And then, of course, then the dark side kicks in for her. And then she's like, maybe he doesn't think I'm that hot. Maybe he doesn't think I'm that special. Why won't he spend any money on me? What, is something wrong with me? Not spending money, very effective. Leykis 101 students believe in the 3 strikes, you're outlaw. We do not go out with a woman for a 4th time without getting laid. I don't mean that she unzips your fly or she touches your foo-foo or something. No. We're talking about getting laid. If you do not have intercourse, if there is no penetration by date 3, she's out. Leykis 101 students have more than one plate spinning, by the way. We don't put all our eggs in one basket. We don't make a date and then wait for it to come along. We are always trolling. Always. Even when we have scheduled action for the weekend, we're still looking for more. She might flake. She might run into an ex-boyfriend. She might get married to somebody else. You don't know. You cannot put all your eggs in one basket. Always have 2 or 3 or 4 possibilities working at all times. No doubt about it. And finally, for the purposes of this review, because, again, we don't review all the tenets all the time, just every now and then we give you kind of a refresher course, we don't date single mothers. Single mothers already made one mistake. You don't want to be paying for the next one. Now, it's Leykis 101. I'm your professor, and if you are looking to avoid commitment, avoid serious relationships, avoid marriage, avoid spending money and wasting time with chicks who are never, ever going to put out, no matter how much time or money you spend on them. If you're looking to go to the shortest distance between 2 points, you have come to the right classroom.
Tom Leykis. Tom Leykis. 800 Tom.
We women also gain information from your show.
Yeah, I mean, better to listen in and find out what guys think than to be in denial about it.
Absolutely, you're right.
It's Leykis 101 on the Tom Leykis Show.
Leykis Show, Leykis 101. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Renee. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Renee.
I'm calling. I'm actually having a relationship issue right now. My boyfriend of the last year and a half is not having sex with me. So it's kind of a reverse situation of what you were talking about.
And why is he not having sex with you?
Well, that's a good question. He says that it's mostly like his own self-esteem issues and that he just hasn't felt like it. He's gained a little bit of weight since we've been together. I've been real supportive, and I've been telling him, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't matter, I still love you, I still want you. And we've slowed down.
Wait a minute. Has anything else changed in your relationship?
Yeah, well, I am pregnant. 2 months.
You happen to leave that out.
Well, no, this was going on before that. And amazingly enough, prior to him...
Well, if this was going on before that, why did you let yourself get pregnant if you had a reason to doubt that the relationship was going well?
It was an accident. It wasn't planned.
Yeah, but were you using birth control?
No.
Then it's not an accident, dear.
Okay. Well, yeah.
That's not an accident.
Gotcha.
You wanted to get pregnant.
No, not necessarily.
Dear, please.
It happened. We discussed it, and it was something that we would both, we were both ready to deal with if it had happened.
But my point is, you facilitated it happening. Then you try to act like it wasn't a plan. That was the plan.
Inadvertently, I guess. Yeah.
No, it was not inadvertent. You discussed it. You both decided it was something you would handle if it happened, and then you opened the floodgates and allowed no barriers between you and pregnancy. Why can't you admit that?
Okay.
I'm serious. Are you in denial about that?
I guess I am.
Why are you in denial about that?
Well...
You wanted to have a baby.
Not really.
Dear, if you didn't want to have a baby, you would continue using birth control. An accident is when you're using birth control and it doesn't work. You deliberately didn't use birth control. And you know you did it deliberately because you had a conversation with him about having a baby. Why can't you admit that you did this intentionally?
Well, it was something that we had discussed when our relationship...
The fact that you discussed it doesn't make it any more inadvertent. In fact, it makes it more likely you planned it.
No, it wasn't planned.
Dear, the only way it wasn't planned is what day the stick turned pink. Everything else was planned. You discussed having a baby. You agreed with him that if it happened, that would be great, and you stopped using birth control. That's a plan.
Okay.
So, now your relationship had problems, and you planned to get pregnant. And you see, you're having a hard time dealing with the fact that you knew the relationship was heading south, but you did this anyway. And I tend to believe, dear, I'll tell you right now, I tend to believe that you wanted to have a baby in hopes of improving the relationship.
No. You make it sound as if that's the way it is because maybe things started to go south and then we had a conversation about what was going to happen. That's not the case. When our relationship first became sexual, before it even became serious, he and I had known each other for a long time. And when we first began having sex, it was unprotected. And I had discussed with him about that and what we, whether, this was the right thing to do. And he said, if it happens, it happens. And that was something, literally from the beginning that he had said. It's not like our relationship began going south and I said, hey, what if I get pregnant? That's not what happened.
Why didn't you use birth control?
It's just not something that we had done.
No, dear, you did at some point.
No, we really didn't.
So you're 27, and you've gone your entire life without ever using birth control.
No, I'm talking about...
When did you stop using birth control? How old were you when you stopped?
Probably with this relationship.
That's my point. You wanted to have a baby with him. And you're in total denial about it. Aren't you?
Not necessarily. I'm sorry. I don't agree with the way that you're...
Why did you stop using it with this relationship?
Because it was something that we had discussed ahead of time.
No. Why did you do... Yeah, well, you discussed it ahead of time because you planned on having a baby with him. Why can't you be honest about this?
I understand what you're saying and how you're saying it.
No, but you're not going to get any help from me until you tell me the truth. And the truth is, you stopped using birth control with this guy because this is the guy you decided you wanted to have a baby with, isn't it?
Well, and not just that, from the get-go.
No, let's stop with not just that. Okay. That's a yes or a no. That's the reason you stopped, right?
Yes.
You wanted to have a baby with this guy.
Among other things.
Forget the other things. You wanted to have a baby with this guy.
Okay.
Right?
Sure, yes.
Yes. So it was not an accident, as you said at the beginning of this call 6.5 minutes ago. It was not inadvertent, as you said about 3 minutes ago. It was a deliberate plan on your part, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So why couldn't you be honest about that 6.5 minutes ago?
I guess that's not the way I was looking at it.
That's the way it is. When did you start becoming sexually active? 13, 14, 15? How old were you?
16.
16. So for 11 years, you were using birth control, and suddenly you happened to stop. And you try to tell me you accidentally got pregnant? Let's review the facts. You use birth control for 11 years. You meet a guy. You have a conversation with the guy to discuss what would happen if you got pregnant. The two of you came to an agreement that if you got pregnant, you'd both be okay with it. And then you stop using birth control, and then you got pregnant. And then you tell me it's an accident? Are you nuts? Do you think I'm nuts?
No.
Why did you make me waste 7.5 minutes to get you to tell me something you could have told me the truth about when you called in?
It wasn't the issue that I was calling to discuss.
It's part of the issue, dear. And the reason it's part of the issue is because, isn't it amazing, now that you're pregnant, he doesn't want to have sex with you anymore?
It was an issue prior to me getting pregnant. It was.
Maybe he didn't want to have a baby. Maybe he thought about that conversation. Maybe the two of you have not been communicating.
No, when
I
told him that I was pregnant. When I came to him and I told him that I was pregnant,
right,
it was not decided what we were going to do and how we were going to handle the situation. I wasn't just coming to him and saying, look, we're having a baby. I wanted to communicate about it, see where he was, discuss where we both were and what we wanted to do with our relationship and if this was what we wanted to experience.
But it isn't what you want because he's not having sex with you as often as he used to. You told me that. And you knew that before you got pregnant. So that brings back the question I originally asked, and that's why this is all related. If the sex had been declining, that's a problem. And if you had that problem, why didn't you start using birth control until you figured out whether or not you had a problem that couldn't be fixed?
Good point.
Yeah, it's a good point. And the answer is, which you can't deal with, is that somewhere in that brain of yours, you thought that if you got pregnant and had a baby, it might revive his interest in your relationship, which it clearly hasn't. That plan didn't work, did it?
That wasn't the plan.
Why would you have a baby with a guy with whom you've got a serious problem?
That wasn't the plan. I mean, honestly, how could a person think that by getting knocked up by a guy that suddenly he's going to...
They do it all the time, dear.
Well, that's not...
Dear, I've been doing this show for a long time. I've gotten so many calls of people saying they did that. People do it all the time.
No, and that's not what I was thinking. And if when I came to him and I told him that I was pregnant through the course of the discussion, that he decided he didn't want to have a baby, I would not have a problem with having an abortion. I would not have a problem.
It's not even a matter whether he wants to have a baby. He doesn't want to have sex with you.
That is the current issue.
And if he didn't want to have sex with you, why was it necessary for you to get pregnant?
It wasn't necessary.
Dear, if you have a problem in your relationship, let's take other possible problems that other people have in their relationships. The person starts getting violent, beats you up, verbally abuses you, does other crazy things, is an alcoholic and suddenly is drunk all the time, or is all drugged out. Isn't that the time to stick the old diaphragm in there or something until you figure out what the problem is?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's not something that you really consider being a problem when you're having sex once or twice a month.
It is a problem.
Well, the situation is such that the man that I'm with expresses a want to have this child, and he's even talked about marriage. It's not an ultimatum that I gave him. It's not something that I came to him with and said that's what's going to happen now. It was something that he said that he wanted. He tells me that he loves me and that he wants to be with me, that this is it for him. But there's still this problem, and
well, before you had a baby, before you got pregnant, you could have simply said to him, if we're not having sex 3-4 times a week like the average couple, I'm out of here. And until you do have sex with me 3 or 4 times a week, put the diaphragm back in, baby.
Yeah.
That's how you handle these situations, dear.
I understand. It's a little too late for that now, though.
Right, and having a baby when you're not married is a bad idea. Bad. I keep telling this to people, and now I hope everybody can hear. Here's another example of why it's a bad idea. Isn't it?
Certainly appears so.
It is a bad idea. How pregnant are you?
2.5 months.
Well, you could still do something about it.
It's difficult at this point because I don't think that is the root of the problem between he and I.
Dear, it is a problem. And by the way, even if it isn't the root of the problem, you are now going to have a baby with a guy with whom you've got serious, fatal issues in your relationship.
I understand that.
Issues he shows no interest in resolving. You, if you don't change course here, will become a single mother.
That's what I'm afraid of.
That's what's happening there.
And you know, I know the issue is not that he doesn't love me and that he doesn't want to be with me. I don't know what, and it's not that I'm not hot. You know, I take care of myself.
None of this is relevant.
It leaves me.
If you two aren't having sex, there isn't a viable relationship.
And that's my argument, that I don't feel I should have to argue with someone to have sex with me.
Well, you shouldn't argue with anybody to have sex with you, but you shouldn't have babies with them either.
I understand.
My opinion is you should not be having a baby. And my opinion is you should do something to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't care if that's the reason he's not having sex with you. You will become damaged goods.
I know, but I'm not looking to end the relationship. I want to try and fix the problem, and I know doing something like that is going to end the relationship. That'll be unforgivable.
There, he does not want to fix the problem. Does he?
Hope you're wrong.
What indication has he given that he's going to fix this problem?
Well, the last time we discussed it, he kept, you know, he was real apologetic about it. No. You know, I try almost every day.
No. Fixing the problem means you either start having sex 3 to 4 times a week,
I understand.
or you get the name of a couples counselor or a therapist, and you get it fixed.
Right.
Those are the only 2 ways to fix it. Saying he thinks about it or he's sorry, irrelevant. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Exactly.
He's done nothing to fix it, and you've let him slide. So you have culpability here.
Yeah.
Why would you tolerate being with a man who doesn't nail you?
Good question.
And why would you have a baby with a man like that?
It's a difficult situation right now, I guess.
It's what?
It's a difficult situation for me right now.
Dear, you made it a difficult situation. It was a simple situation. You complicated matters. You allowed yourself to get pregnant by a man who doesn't feel attracted to you anymore.
Well, he continues to say that that's not what the issue is.
Yes, it is. Because I'm not saying he's not attracted to you anymore because you're pregnant. I'm saying he's not attracted to you anymore, period. And you're having a baby with that guy. Right?
Right.
So you have played a part here, haven't you?
Oh, I have.
This was a simple situation. I mean, emotionally, it might be difficult to face, but the problem is clear. The solutions are limited, and you either solve the problem or get out. And you didn't. You complicated the matter by continuing to have what little sex you were having without birth control. And if you think you have no sex life now, wait till you have a baby.
I know, and that's what worries me at this point. You know, he's talking about getting married after the baby comes, and I can't imagine completely losing my own sexuality and being married to a man that won't sleep with me.
Oh dear, you had no problem being impregnated by a man like that. You were just fine with that. You have to look deep inside your soul, dear, and you have to figure out why you would want to have a baby with a man who doesn't desire you. Why you would consider marrying a man who doesn't desire you. What a honeymoon that would be. You get married to a man who doesn't want to have sex with you. And you have a baby. Where's the baby going while you're on your honeymoon, by the way?
Exactly. No, I've been brought up.
Yeah. Great. And you played a part in this. So don't blame it on him.
No, I don't blame it on him. I don't blame that I got pregnant on him.
No. It's not just getting pregnant. You tolerated being in a relationship where the guy doesn't desire you. He doesn't think you're the hottest thing on two legs. And by the way, when you started dating him, he had a job.
Oh, he still does.
He was working.
Absolutely.
All right, so why is he tired now?
He's always tired.
He's tired when you want to have sex. Honey, I'm tired. Yeah.
Well, we both run a business together, so it's tiring.
Oh,
But I mean,
didn't you have a business together before he impregnated you?
Yes.
Did you have a business together when you met him? Oh, you were friends for a long time. When you started dating, did you have a business?
He did.
He had a business.
Actually, no, I don't have a financial part in the business, nor do I want a financial
He
part.
has a business, and you've been working with him almost since the beginning of your relationship, right?
Actually, prior to.
Prior to. And back then, he had time to nail you on a regular basis, didn't he?
Yes.
So this is BS, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. The real truth is, it has nothing to do with the business, nothing to do with being tired. He's tired of you.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I not wanted to hear, but I guess needed to hear from another man.
Now I've told you. Because if he wanted to fix it, he'd fix it.
That's what I want to do.
No, if he wanted to. He doesn't want to fix it. Now, I can't get pregnant, but you know what I would do? I would tell him, especially since he wants this kid, I'd say, here's your choices. You either come with me into counseling and we fix this, or I'm having an abortion, and that's that. The biggest bargaining chip you could possibly use.
I can't. I understand what you're saying, but it sounds a little heartless to use our unborn child as a partner.
Guess what? It's going to end up being your unborn child, and he's going to be somewhere else at some point here. Write it down.
Okay.
You give that some thought, dear.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
If there was no women in this world, what would you do? Y'all be running around circles, going, duh, duh.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
No, we'd be slapping the salami.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show on 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Brandon on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Dad.
Hi, son.
How's it going?
Doing great.
I got a one-on-one story for you. I graduated at the top 1 percentile of your class.
Really? Do tell.
I got the whole story about, you know, being Mr. Nice Guy, being all sweet, being all kind, you know, puppy love stuff. Got burned. The last time I got burned, I was like, you know what, forget this. I am only going to go out to get laid. So one day I was in Old Town, Pasadena, and I'm at a shoe store buying some shoes, and there's a girl in front of me. I was checking her out. She looked pretty. She was buying a pair of shoes, and the lady asked to see her ID, but she had her passport only, and the passport said España. So I was like, all right, I did a year abroad in Madrid. I could do this. So I told her what she said, and the girl totally freaked out. She's like, oh my God, you speak Spanish, and long story short, we went to her house, her apartment that night. She made me homemade tapas. And she brought wine from Spain, and I wound up banging her that same night. And to top it off, I leave tomorrow from LAX to Madrid. I'm gone for 2 weeks. I'm going to her place, and I'm going to spend some time in Madrid. Then I'm heading to San Sebastian in a train, and I'm going to enjoy my tapas. I'm going to enjoy my wine.
Have you been to San Sebastian?
Yeah, I've been there. I mean,
I've been there. I was there last summer.
God bless Dino, because I don't know if you remember or not. I mean, I called probably about 2 months ago, and I said that you would be proud of me because this is the girl that from out of all places she wanted a taste of home, and I got the accent, I got the culture under my belt, and to top it all off, I'm gonna spend 2 weeks in Spain. So I mean, I'm going back. I'm gonna bring back a bottle of wine for you and Dino, and I'm gonna send you pictures on. So you know what? I just thought I'd let you know that.
Beautiful. Be sure to stop into the Museum of Ham while you're there.
Hamon, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a museum, as you know. It's a takeout place.
It's all meat, and I'm gonna try my
ham hanging from the ceiling, baby.
I'm gonna try my best to smuggle you a leg of ham from. You can't get past customs, but I'm gonna try my best to get you some ham. And you know what, Tom? I just everyone has their little story with the American girls, but you know what? You gotta go European. You gotta go girls from Spain. So I just thought I'd let you know, and I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and. Like I said, I will mail you pictures on your email address.
Oh, absolutely do that, Brandon. I'm proud of you.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
I think you need to step back and double-check your priorities.
Oh, please. My priorities are that we start making things fair in this country for men, because men have gotten their asses kicked.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
We have another hour of Leykis 101 to go. If you've got questions on how to avoid relationships, avoid commitment, avoid marriage, and avoid wasting money and energy on chicks who never put out. If you are pissed at your professor, we encourage vigorous classroom discussion. You can call us here toll-free at 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. And if you can't get through on the lines, you have comments, questions, or complaints, you can send them to our email address, tom@blowmeuptom.com. tom@blowmeuptom.com. You can also hear our show live the way nature intended it. Monday through Friday from 3 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. Go to blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.